Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Oxnard Planning Commission for Thursday, January 18, 2024. This meeting will come to order at 6:02 p.m. The public may view the meeting from home on the city's website, Spectrum Channel 10, Frontier Channel 35, or on the city's YouTube website. To participate in the meeting, the public may provide comments to the Planning Commission via email at planning@oxnard.org no later than 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting or through the city's website at oxnard.org/city-meetings or call the Planning Division office at 805-385-7878. Additionally, those wishing to speak can dial the phone number listed at the bottom of the screen, follow the instructions to access the meeting, and press star 9 to raise your hand, indicating your intention to speak on the agenda item being discussed. Madam Secretary, can we please have the roll call?
Commissioner Anna Zielsdorf,
Present.
Commissioner Steve Nash,
Present.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Here, thank you.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Present.
Chair Arejo.
Present.
We have now reached a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We will now move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Dr. Lopez, will you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. The next agenda item is C, public comments on items not on the agenda. At this time, a person may address the Planning Commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission, including information consent items and any time not appearing on the agenda. The Planning Commission cannot take action on any item presented during public comments that is not on the agenda, and such item may only be referred to the Commission Secretary. Persons wishing to speak on public hearing items should do so at the time of the public hearing. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments for items not on the agenda?
There are none at this time.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll move on to the consent agenda. The next, for the approval of the minutes for D1, December 7, 2023. Are there any corrections from the Commission? Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
On the roll call, it indicates that Commissioner Conley and I were absent, but throughout the minutes, including on page 2, it makes reference to myself making a motion there on the second line. Further down, second to the bottom of page 2, on the amendment to the motion, it still references Commissioner Chavez, and then right underneath that with the motion vote, it includes me on there, and then it's stricken, so I was just absent at that meeting.
Okay.
So to reflect the changes that I was absent and did not participate.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Without objections, those will be included in the correction of the minutes.
Chair.
Yes, Mr. Pearson.
Just to clarify, so you said on page 2 of the draft minutes?
Yes, page 2, second line has my name reference there as seconding the motion. And then further down the bottom of page 2, under amendment to the motion vote, it still references Commissioner Chavez. And the next section, the final section of page 2, it also indicates myself voting in favor, but I was absent.
So I think those are for the September 21st. So what's being shown here are the revisions to the September 21st
I
meeting.
see. Okay. That was confusing. Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, it was a lot of changes that kind of went back and
That
forth
were
there.
edited. Perfect. Thank you.
Apologies for accepting that. Yeah, that was actually my complicated correction to the minutes. Yeah, we'll retract those proposed corrections. I have, if there's none other from the Planning Commission, I have 4 of my own. Page 5, agenda item F1, The motion carried 402. Same with F2 on page 6 and F3 on page 8. And on agenda item F3, page 7, one of the public speakers, Carla Alejandra, first name is spelled with a K. Are there any other corrections from the Planning Commission? Seeing and hearing none, looking for a motion. Commissioner Nash.
Move to approve
Has been moved
with
by,
the suggested edits.
thank you, Commissioner Nash. It has been moved by Commissioner Nash to
And I
approve the
second.
minutes. To approve the minutes as corrected, seconded by Commissioner Zielsdorf. Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Dr. Lopez,
Abstain?
Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Chair Arejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Zielsdorf. Aye. This motion passes.
The item passes, yes, it's a majority of the quorum.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll move on to item E, nominations and elections of the Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair to serve for calendar year 2024. Before the commission proceeds into the nomination and election of the Planning Commission Chair and Vice Chair to serve for calendar year 2024, the Chair will remind the commission that a general order was approved to take up the motion passed at the previous meeting on December 7, 2023, to quote, delay the election of the Chair and Vice Chair until such time that the Planning Commission consists of 7 members, end quote. With approval of the January 16, 2024 City Council meeting of Mr. James Scholke, this motion is now moot, and we would normally proceed to the agenda item before us. However, I will look to the maker of the general order, Commissioner Nash, as to whether he would propose an alternate motion at this time in the spirit of what he wanted to do previously.
I move that we once again continue this item until we have a full contingent of 7 commissioners.
The motion before us by Commissioner Nass, and I'll clarify, is that we have a contingent of 7 members at the Planning Commission before we proceed with the motion. Can I clarify that they're present also, not just appointed?
Yes, that we have present on the dais all 7 commissioners.
Okay, thank you. I'll restate. The motion on the floor right now is to postpone the election of chair and vice chair until such time that that all 7 appointed members are at the dais to proceed with the agenda item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Is there any deliberation on the motion before us? Commissioner Dr. Stewart.
I guess my only concern is that now that they actually have 7 people on the planning commission, and somebody can't make it for whatever reason, how long do we continue to put off the meetings because we don't have we have a quorum, but we don't have a quorum of 7 because nowhere in those new bylaws there are requests for a super quorum, which is what that would almost be, is that you're requiring all 7 people to be present when they might have the opportunity to show up. I can understand this time because we just had a new commissioner who, for whatever reason couldn't make it. But, moving forward, everybody has the ability to be here. The agenda is posted, so it's a choice.
Chair, if I could speak on that.
Yeah, Commissioner Nash.
And I apologize for not asking our chair and vice chair before I made the motion if they are okay with continuing to serve in their current capacity until we are able to execute a vote. And I'm seeing, yes? Okay, that's great. So I think absent any dissenting comments from other commissioners, that I think we can continue this item until we actually, once again, achieve the apparently magical number of 7 present and alive commissioners up here on the dais. I appreciate Commissioner Dr. Stewart for bringing that up, because I should have asked the two gentlemen if they were okay with continuing to serve, and they are.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Is there any other commissioners before Vice Chair Dr. Stewart speaks? I'll speak before Vice Chair Dr. Stewart, and that I'm going to propose an amendment depending on the comments of Vice Chair Dr. Stewart that we add that that we take up the election until when 7 members are on the dais or until the first meeting of March, whichever comes first. That gives us the option to go to 7, but there might be a possibility that there's several months before we get all 7. Highly likely that we'll get 5 or 6. I'll look to Vice Chair Dr. Stewart before I make my motion to amend. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I can go along with that. I was going to propose that we continue to have this on the agenda for every meeting thereafter so that we have to do this process, because I want to emphasize is that, again, everybody has the opportunity to be here. It's agendized, and it becomes known that it will be on the next agenda. And if we don't have 7, okay, but, we get to a point where how long do we continue to push this down the road?
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Anyone? Commissioner Nash.
I am just waiting to second your motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. If there's no other deliberation on this, I will move to amend the motion before us to add that to include or the first meeting in March, whichever comes first, and still continue to agendize this until that meeting in March. Is there a second?
A second from Nash.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded to add to the motion that the motion will read, if the amendment is approved, to delay the election of chair and vice chair until such time that the Planning Commission consists of 7 members or until the first election of March, with this still continuing to be agendized until such time. To remind the members, we're voting on the amendment to the motion, not the motion itself. Is there any deliberation on the amendment before us? Seeing and hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Zielsdorf,
Aye.
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye. The amendment has passed. The motion before us is now to delay the election of chair and vice chair until such time that the Planning Commission consists of 7 members or until the first meeting of March, with it continuing to be agendized until such time the election happens. Is there any deliberation on the motion as amended before us? Commissioner Dr. Stewart?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we have a roll call on the amended motion before us?
Commissioner Zielsdorf,
Aye.
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and thank you all. The next item on the agenda is Section F, Public Hearing. Apologies. Saviors Road property acquisition. You know what? I forgot the ex parte declarations. Apologies. We'll call this 2024 beginnings. We'll go through it really quickly. Ex parte declarations for public hearing items. Please state any ex parte, if any. I'll go across the dais. Commissioner Nash.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
None, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
None, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Zielsdorf.
None, Chair, thank you.
And none for myself. Now, moving on to agenda item G1, project name 3250 Saviors Road Property Acquisition, Planning and Zoning Permit 23-625-06, 2030 General Plan Conformity Determination for acquisition of the property located at 3250 Saviors Road. A request that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution affirming that the City of Oxnard's acquisition of real property located at 3250 Saviors Road for right-of-way purposes is in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and recommending that the City Council acquire the property. The request is exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15061B3 and Section 15378B5. Requested by Donat Ruthier, Associate Traffic Engineer on behalf of the City of Oxnard. City Staff Joe Pearson II, Planning Environmental Services Manager. Does staff want to provide a summary or additional analysis at this time?
Chair Rejo, so staff has no additional comments. However, I do want to note that the Public Works staff is here and is available if there are any questions on the items.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. At this time, members of the commission may ask staff any questions. Seeing none at this moment.
I have one.
Okay, Commissioner Nash.
Thank you. Just a real brief comment, and this applies to the next agenda item also, is that I would have appreciated, and I acknowledge that it would have taken staff time, and that's always a problem when you're understaffed, but to have an as-is photo and then a proposed graphic, so we can actually see what is being proposed rather than a diagram, which tends to be confusing sometimes. You don't necessarily know what you're looking at all the time. So that would be my one comment and suggestion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. I have a couple of my own. Was the reason for the timing of acquiring just due to the CIP 5-year improvement plan or some other reason?
Chair, this is Debbie O'Leary. I'm the transportation planner for Public Works, and the timing is that we have awarded a construction contract and are preparing to start construction. And so now that we've gone out into the field and seen some limits to what we have out there in order to place the new signal poles, we need these small pieces of right-of-way.
Thank you. And second, probably final question. It appears that property, there is something already there. So what was the property owner's response, or was it already in the permit that the city could use that in terms of the right-of-way for ADA compliance in the future, and so they don't really have a say to reject or appeal construction?
The city utilized our right-of-way consultants who reached out to the property owners to have a site visit with them, explain what the project is, and make an offer. So we went through the offer process where they were able to ask questions and make any counter offers. And so their understanding of what we're doing in that area, and I believe it's just a sort of a small section where the sign is for the 7-Eleven that's at that location. So it's a very overall minor area that we're needing in order to make room for that pole, and again, all of those ADA improvements like you mentioned.
Okay, thank you. This will slightly, I was going to wait till the next agenda item, but it does apply to this one. The next agenda item has a right-of-way easement, but this one doesn't. Is it because we were now able to transfer that property to the City of Oxnard, but in the next agenda item, it's still theirs and we just have the right-of-way easement on it? I just didn't see a right-of-way easement, and I thought they look very similar, so I thought I would see the same document in each.
I think the need for what's at since it's two completely separate locations, intersections, that all we need at the one location is an easement, whereas the other location, we're going to need essentially a permanent take to acquire that piece of property.
Thank you for that, appreciate it. Any other questions from the commission? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go to public comment. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
There are none at this time.
Thank you very much. I will now close public hearing. We'll move on to deliberation. Commission. Commissioner Nash.
I don't think there's a whole lot here to deliberate, so I'm happy to make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Thank you. It has been moved by Commissioner Nash to find a partial acquisition of unimproved real property located at 3250 Saviors Road exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15061B3 and Section 15378B5, and adopt Resolution 2024-XX affirming that the City of Oxnard's acquisition of real property located at APN 2119 or 219-0-031-065 is in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and recommending that the City Council order the acquisition. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zillsdorf. Is there any other deliberation on the motion before us? Seeing and hearing none. Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Zillsdorf,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll move on to the next item, 5101 Saviors Road Property Acquisition, 2030 General Plan Conformity Determination for acquisition of the property located at 5101 Saviors Road. If there's no objection, I'll dispense with the rest of the description. Requested by Donat Ruthier, Associate Traffic Engineer on behalf of the City of Oxnard. City Staff, Joe Pearson II, Planning and Environmental Services Manager. Does staff want to provide summary or additional analysis at this time?
Hello, Chair Arejo. No additional comments from staff. And again, Public Works staff is available if there are any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. At this time, members of the Planning Commission may ask questions of staff. Seeing and hearing none. Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
No, there are none.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The public hearing is now closed, and we'll move on to deliberation. Commission. Commissioner Nash.
Again, I don't think that there'll be a whole lot of deliberation on this, so I'll approve, I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
It has been moved by Commissioner Nash to find a partial acquisition of unimproved real property located at 5101 Saviors Road exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA Guidelines Section 15061B3 and Section 15378B5 and adopt Resolution 2024-XX affirming the City of Oxnard's acquisition of real property located at 5101 Saviors Road is in conformance with the City of Oxnard 2030 General Plan and recommending that the City Council order the acquisition. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zillsdorf. Seeing no further deliberation on the motion before us, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Dr. Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart,
Aye.
Chair Arejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Zillsdorf,
Aye.
Commissioner Nash.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We'll move on to the third item, Mr. Softy Commissary. A request to allow for the renovation and tenant improvement of an existing 8,400 square foot warehouse building on a 23,286 square foot parcel. The project proposes to convert 40 to 90 square feet of an existing tenant space into a new mobile food commissary and will also include a 575 square foot truck, wash area, and 262 square foot trash enclosure within 9458 square feet of the existing yard space. Parking for 17 food trucks will be located within the existing exterior yard space. The project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to sections 15301 and 15303C, filed by property owner Jeffrey Hiller of Newberry Park, city staff Lisa Gordon, senior contract planner. Does staff want to provide summary or additional analysis at this time? And I see Lisa Gordon on Zoom.
We have a presentation available.
I'm sorry, was that the staff has a presentation or the property
Staff
owner
has a presentation available. The property owner also has a presentation available too.
Okay.
So
I
staff has
just
a-
want to make sure that this is not the same as the Measure M recording, correct, by staff?
Yeah, so we have the measure and recording.
Yeah.
We also have the PowerPoint, which we could bring up if there are questions about that, but then the applicant also has a presentation that they would like to give. So staff isn't proposing to give a presentation at this point. We're just saying we can bring up the slides if you would like.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the presentation then. By the applicant. Sorry, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Is the applicant here or on Zoom land?
So we have Lizette.
I'm on
who's-
Zoom.
Sorry. So we have Lizette, who's the project architect, who's here with us, and then the property owner, Jeff Heller, is on the Zoom line.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey Hiller, I'm gonna give you 15 minutes to make any presentation or comment that you would like at this time. And we can confirm that
Thank
we
you.
see
Hopefully I have a
the
good
slides. Sorry, and you can begin.
Thank you. My name's Jeff Hiller. I'm actually an Oxnard resident at this time and excited to put our headquarters down on Mercantile Street. I just wanted to tell you all a little bit about the company. I think a lot of people are familiar in the area with the Mr. Softy trucks and our 2 stores. We're a big part of the community at this point. You could put the next slide on if you could, please. We started in 2015 when I was a Camarillo resident. So I've lived all over the county now. And we had 1 truck and we had Ventura County and we just went from there. My wife and I started the business. She passed in 2018. So since then, I've pretty much been running it on my own. And then by 2021, we were up to 5 trucks and 2 stores, Camarillo and East Ventura. In recent weeks, we've opened Santa Barbara, which is a separately owned franchise by 2 former Camarillo employees. I think one of which his uncle might be the assistant chief of police in Oxnard, if I'm not mistaken. Not that that matters, but just saying we're very connected with the community in so many ways. They opened a store in Santa Barbara with an agreement with my company for support and some other things. So just really cool to see how we've really grown in the community and hired kids out of high school who have gone through college and now gone on to open their own Mr. Softy store. We're looking at South Oxnard as one of our next hopeful spots for a location. And we currently employ 39 employees this time of year and have another 6 or 7 staff that are seasonal and come work for us when they come back from school in the summer and during the Christmas season. Since 2019, I have had one kind of right-hand person who does all of our booking and office work, and that's Nicole Bradley. And when we acquired the property at Mercantile Street, we created an LLC, and Nicole got partnership in that, so that she had some skin in the game, and just we had a little bit more ownership behind our venture. We've been parking in El Rio since our inception. At this time, that commissary, like many others, is completely full and inundated. So we're looking forward to get our own space. It's been part of our initial vision. We have 2 trucks that are in LA at our Menco Food Catering, and they're under construction. And really the only thing we're waiting for is to open Mercantile so we have a place to park them and be able to put those trucks in service. So we continue to grow. We plan on hiring additional 3 to 4 full-time people once we're open. We have a couple staff members that will be promoted into new positions and bigger positions as we make this step. And really that's really what I wanted to say mostly. You could go to the next slide. So at the end of the day, as mentioned, I think there are 17 or 16 food truck spots in the yard. Right off the bat, I'll take up 7 of them. You know, my goal over the next few years is to occupy most of those spaces, whether it be more Mr. Softy trucks or novelty trucks or shave ice or coffee or something that there's a need for in the community or something that can be done better than it's being done now. We'll take on those trucks. We're not going to serve the truck community that does hot food, no meat, no grease, no fried foods. We're going to keep our facility strictly to ice cream, shave ice, coffee, fruit vendors, and the like. Because we just, having been at the Cortez Street facility for so long, I see all the issues associated with trying to service that type of truck, and we're not going to go down that road. After we get this set up, we look forward to, like I said, more trucks, potentially more of these company-owned stores like we have in Camarillo and East Ventura, and also opening stores through partnerships like the Santa Barbara store. And we're really excited about the neighborhood. We've been officing there for a few months now, getting to know the neighbors, and are looking forward to more companies like ourselves and Rostar and Toppers coming in and making improvements and really turning that whole area into, you know, something we can all be proud of. So thank you for your time. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Hiller. At this time, members of the commission may ask questions of either the property owner / applicant or staff. Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. And this is a question I have for the applicant. Under special conditions, number 73, the developer shall capture all water used for washing trucks at the car wash facility and route the water to a pretreatment system. And I was just curious what kind of pretreatment, and you don't have to get too technical, just a simple explanation will suffice.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lisette Elenes. I'm with ERA Architects. I'm the architect for the project. And for water treatment, we have a clarifier on site, and it's located right below the car wash area.
Okay, great. Initially, I was a little concerned because I was thinking that this commissary would include all types of food trucks, taco trucks, and everything else. And that entails a lot of diligence on our part about, well, you know, is the grease interceptor, the grease trap, is the sewer system sufficient to handle that sort of a load? But I don't think the same concerns are there if we're just talking about this type of project. So Thank you for that.
And we do have a grease interceptor on the project because it's also considered milk products. So it's still required, but like he mentioned, there's no hot food, there's not a lot of grease that it would be going on in there.
Yeah, hot food means more grease, more fat. So, thank you, Chair. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Any others of the commission at this time? Commissioner Zilsdorf.
Yes, I just have a quick question regarding storage. So is this going to be like a warehouse where they're going to be storing sugar, or like, I'm just curious, and kind of yielding towards the pest control, if that is part of warehousing?
So the building will be used for storage, and most of the products that are stored there are dry foods or also products that he will use on his trucks. So there's no food preparation at all happening inside the building. It's only for storage and washing also of utensils. They're going to be utilized on the mobile food trucks.
Okay. Thank you.
I can also add that I have regular pest control service for all of my trucks and stores. Actually, he comes to my home and now Mercantile as well. And as we get the building ready, we're not going to have a rodent problem. We deal with a little bit of that here and there. And frankly, I pay out of my pocket to deal with it where I rent from. So I'm very sensitive to it. It's it's a condition of it. My employees have to come and deal with it, and I don't think it creates a great work environment. So I'm not going to hold back on dealing with that issue. It's disgusting, and we're in food service, and we're going to be all over that, guaranteed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zilsdorf. I had a couple questions for myself, one for the property owner and one for staff. First to Mr. Hiller. Have you received any pushback from your other, I'd like to say co-tenant, it says Sanchez Auto, or are they neutral or approving of your move into that building?
I would say neutral, leaning towards approved. I'm a pretty reasonable person to deal with. I'm not there asking for the check on the first. We but we made a case to keep vertical parking on his side of the building because initially it was all going to have to be parallel, which would have been a really negative impact more to him than us. So he was very appreciative that the city agreed and that we made that case. And I've shared the drawings with him all along, and we have a very good rapport. So, honestly, my initial feeling was I don't want a greasy auto shop in there, and we'll have to figure that out. But after getting to know him, he runs a very clean shop. He's been in business there for a very long time, pays his rent every month, and I'm happy to have him as a tenant. Yeah.
Thank you for that explanation. Appreciate that. And then to staff, we did hear comments that right now there's not going to be preparation of hot food or related items in this building. Could they change that without going to staff or the planning commission? Basically, right now under conditions of approval, can they change to that without letting anyone in the city know?
So I could maybe respond to that.
Yeah.
If you're referring to, could they turn into a prep kitchen for
Yes,
the
thank
foods
you
and
for
stuff?
clarifying my own question. Appreciate that.
So depending on the zone, potentially they could, if it was an allowed use there. I'd have to go back and confirm that was a permitted use. But right now, off the top of my head, I'm not certain if that location is approved as a prep kitchen location. The commissary itself is primarily for kind of the maintenance of the trucks and those type of things. That would be a separate use that would be subject to the code and the requirements under that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pearson. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, what are going to be the hours for the food trucks to come in or for the Mr. Softy trucks to come in and also to depart? Just wondering about the neighborhood and sound and so forth.
The driver's schedule is generally 12 p.m. until it gets dark. During the summer hours, spring into summer, and with fall festivals on the weekends, the trucks will sometimes leave the yard around 8 a.m. to get to a lot of those festivals and things that begin at 9 or 10. And I would say 90% of the time plus, the trucks are back, just after dark. On the occasions where we're doing a wedding or something like that, then, we may have a truck roll in later, 10, 11 o'clock at night. But it's pretty confined to 12 p.m. to dark. So in the winter, it's a shorter day. In the summer, it's a longer day.
All right. I was wondering if you were doing any 5 a.m.s or anything like that, but I guess that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Any others from the commission at this time? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, is there any public comment?
No, there are none at this time.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to deliberation. Commission. Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
I Just wanted to state how much I appreciate Mr. Softy looking to grow and come and bring a headquarters to the city of Oxnard. I only wish it was a more high-traffic corner, busier intersection to give you an even better location. But I'm very happy that you are excited about the location there and your efforts to be a good neighbor with the existing tenants and making accommodations. It certainly makes it easier to come into any, I think, neighborhood or business center, having that support of being a good neighbor. And so I'm certainly prepared to support. And as I've said with other businesses in other industries that have come to the city, I just wish you the absolute best and much success, because your success is our success. So thank you so much again for choosing to grow to Oxnard.
Thank you, Commissioner Dr. Lopez. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I too can support this, and I just wanted to make a statement in regards to thank you for utilizing existing space. In other words, you could have come in and built something, but you're utilizing existing space. Oxnard has a lot of areas, I'll use the term blight, but has a lot of areas that, we could have other businesses move into, as opposed to continuing to build new stuff and take away from our farmland and our agriculture. So again, I just appreciate the fact you're coming in and revitalizing something that is already in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. And I just want to echo the comments of Commissioners Stewart and Lopez. Seems like you have a great company here, incredible growth, incredible success, and I am so happy that you chose Oxnard for this commissary, and I hope that you build the outlet in South Oxnard sooner rather than later. We're all looking forward to it, so I can support this, and if there's no other comments, I am happy to make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. It has been moved by Commissioner Nash to find the project to be categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines sections 15301 and 15303C, and adopt resolution 2024-XX approving planning and zoning permit number 23-500-03, subject to certain findings and conditions. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Zilsdorf. Is there any further deliberation on the motion before us? Seeing and hearing none, Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Dr. Lopez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Aye.
Chair Arejo.
Aye.
Commissioner Zielsdorf.
Aye.
Commissioner Nash.
Aye.
This motion passes.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to you and on Zoom land. Appreciate that. Moving on to study session reports. Oh, yep, thanks. We'll move, with none listed, we'll move on to Planning Commission business. Is there any business to report from the Planning Commission? Commissioner Nash.
Thank you, Chair. This past Monday, we celebrated Martin Luther King, and I just want to bring our attention to Commissioner Dr. Stewart, who helped organize this event, and his incredible team. The festivities at the PAC were fantastic, and I'm so happy that Oxnard is kind of ground zero for celebrating MLK, and I just want to show my appreciation to Commissioner Dr. Stewart, who is truly, an individual who makes our little town of Oxnard the great community that it is. So thank you so much, Vince.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash. Vice Chair Dr. Stewart.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash, but, appreciate it, but it is, like you said, a team. And so our chair, Dr. Larita Montgomery, who is the chair, been with the MLK for 38 years. I've only been on for 18. And make sure that everything goes to the park and the march goes well. And I think it was a great event. We had our former Mayor Pro Tem of the city of Oxnard, Dr. Irene Pinkert, was our keynote speaker, and she did a fabulous job. And overall, the program was really good. And a lot of people, a lot of hands are involved, the military and so forth. Everybody's involved to make sure that it was a success. And so not my team, but the committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair Dr. Stewart. Anyone else from the commission? I'd just like to do a short welcome to 2024. So happy to see you all. It's been a while, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming year. This is the final year of this, at least, term for myself, Commissioner Connolly, and Commissioner Dr. Lopez. So we look forward to seeing what happens the rest of the year and in the future, whatever that may be. So thank you very much. Before I go and transition on to the community development staff update, I'm going to have the Madam Secretary just introduce herself to us here on the dais and to any on Zoom land. Just a quick intro, if you may.
Hello, all. My name is Kristen Guzman. I'm an administrative services technician with planning, and it's great to meet you all and be here, a part of the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Madam Secretary. Hopefully we don't scare you off, and we look forward to seeing you at our future meetings. We'll move on to Mr. Pearson with any other community development staff update.
Yes, just a few things. So on Tuesday this week, just wanted to let the commission know that the final map for the Encanto Homes project was approved by City Council. So you may have already seen some of that work starting to take place, but that project is moving forward. So they should be moving forward with their kind of full grading permits. Right now, they're just doing rough grading. But that 27 unit or 27 single-family home development is moving forward. Also, at that meeting, as I know some of you guys are aware, the new 7th commissioner was appointed, James Shawalki, which I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to have to double check that with him. He wasn't able to make it to this meeting, but he's looking forward to joining everyone here. So he will be at the future meetings. And also want to note, just generally, that there is a Ventura County-wide short-range transit plan community workshop that's coming up. It's being held by the county and the transportation agencies and the county, and they have a couple of different ones. But you can find more information on the goventura.org /SRTP website for more information. They have a meeting here in Oxnard over at Gold Coast on January 24th at 6 p.m. So if anyone's interested in that, those meetings are happening. And then the last thing is, at this time, I anticipate that the February 1st meeting will be canceled. So the next meeting will be February 15th. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Ms. Roselle, I don't always ask, but it's been a while, so.
So thank you, Chair. Nothing to add at this point, but it's good to be starting 2024 with each one of you. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Ms. Roselle. We'll move on to adjournment, and if there's no further business, the meeting will be adjourned if there's no objection. Seeing and hearing no objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.